YouTube, how are you doing? Welcome to the, I think the 5th instalment of my library tour that I've been doing. If you haven't seen any of the others, I'll just kind of fill you in that I'm going through my shelves before I move house, just kind of showing you the chaos of the books situation at the moment. And then once I've moved, I'll then probably in less detail just kind of show you how things have been organised once we've settled into a new place. And I guess I haven't really talked about how the books are really organised too much in the past videos. You might have got the impression that they are sort of roughly categorised by genre, although as you'll see today that is kind of fluid in some cases. But in terms of what book goes where, there's not a specific way of doing it. So you know, kind of on the shelf, it's maybe more aesthetic, or at least that was the idea when we first started doing it this way, but it's kind of got a bit messed up. So yeah, we'll see how it goes in the new house. But yeah, today we're here. And this shelf mainly consists of sci-fi books and sort of mystery, crime and sort of thriller books. And I'll probably just do the first two stacks here because there's a fair bit to talk about, and then in the next video I'll move over to these ones over here. So yeah, I'll start off, and most of these are sci-fi. Starting off, we have The Circle by Dave Eggers, which is I suppose more of a speculative fiction book about social media and its impact, and sort of portraying it as a utopia slash dystopia, which is why I read it. I read it on a course I was doing about utopian fiction, and yeah, I love the book. I was reading it around the time that the Netflix film adaptation came out, and I didn't enjoy that as much. I think it kind of missed the point of the book a bit. At least that's what I thought. Then moving on, we have some Douglas Adams. We have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This is the 2005 movie tie-in edition. And yeah, you know, the one with Martin Freeman as Arthur Dent. And then we have some more Douglas Adams. This is Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which was the other kind of series of books that Douglas Adams worked on when he was around. Yeah, really love this. And when I was a teenager, I was really into anything kind of Douglas Adams related. And I've still got the kind of like a CD collection of the original Hitchhiker's radio play, which is my favourite way of experiencing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But then we have this is Stealing Light by Gary Gibson. Haven't read this. It sounds really interesting though. I think this was one of my wife's books from when before we were together, yeah, it seems to be about the idea being that this alien race has a monopoly on faster than light travel, and if humans want to be able to colonise other planets, they need to be in league with this alien race. But then it turns out that this alien race are sort of committing atrocities, and yeah, it sounds really interesting, and maybe trying to deal with what were current affairs when it was written, but in a different setting, which I think sci-fi tends to do very well. And then we have some more sort of speculative fiction, I guess. This is Arrival by Ted Chiang, originally published as The Story of Your Life and Others, and I think this is great. The film Arrival, based on the title's story, is really good. Yeah, I think it works better as a story, but it's great. And then we have a series of books, and these books kind of help me understand what everyone else was talking about when they just get sucked into a series and start really feeling for the characters, because I'd read like Lord of the Rings and Narnia, but other than that I hadn't really experienced many series, or I tried some but just hadn't got very far in them, wasn't connected to them, I suppose. But these I really got connected to when I was a teenager. So this is Philip Reeve, and this is the first book in his Mortal Engines series, and in this sort of all the cities on Earth, they're kind of moving. Some kind of apocalyptic event has happened, and there's this idea of municipal Darwinism. So all these moving cities, the bigger, stronger ones, will kind of eat the weaker ones. So it's kind of like survival of the fittest, but with giant moving cities. And they, they take all their materials and supplies, and the population kind of integrate into the new city. And there's a kind of evil conspiracy in the city of London, and that's the first one. And this was a couple of years ago. This was adapted by Peter Jackson into a film, which was pretty good. And then the second book are two main characters from the first book, Tom and Hester. Kind of get trapped in the city of Anchorage, which again is a moving city, but it's kind of isolated, I think, from the rest of the world, and they're kind of going over this barren, frozen wasteland. But they're trying to find their way over the ice to the lost continent of America. Then we have Infernal Devices, the third book. Don't remember this very well, and I kind of get it muddled up with stuff that happens in the last book, so I think I need to reread the series. But yeah, this is the last book, A Darkling Plain. Quite hard to say, actually. And yeah, this is the last book, and just ties it together really well. I think I need to reread these, but I thoroughly enjoyed them. And then I have the prequels to this, which are the Fever Crumb books. Oh. Made life hard for myself getting those out. So yeah, this is the first one, Fever Crumb. I think she's a kind of cyborg character, and again it's super steampunky, and this is before all the cities are moving. And the idea of having a moving city of sort of nomadism is a kind of taboo in these books. I don't particularly remember this one very well, but I think it's quite fun. I remember this one a little bit better. This is A Web of Air, and our main character, Fever Crumb, is in this sort of seaport, and since this kind of apocalyptic event that has happened, that's kind of laid the foundation for the world of these books and the Mortal Engines books. I think we've lost the sort of flight technology, and so in this book, Fever Crumb and one of her friends are trying to create a flying machine, which I think is kind of outlawed, which is quite cute. And then finally there's Scrivener's Moon, which is it kind of ties these prequels together, and just kind of underlines how these books are a prequel to the Mortal Engines books, and I think this was my favourite, and it was definitely the most epic and adventurous of the three. So yeah, we're about halfway through this video. Next up, just a bit of a taste of some of the mystery books that we'll have in the next video. This is The Cornish Coast Murder by John Bude, and we have a few other in this sort of British crime library classics, all by the same writer. So we have A Lake District Murder and The Sussex Downs Murder. And as you can tell, they essentially take a popular holiday destination in the UK, and then someone dies there. Very formulaic. I haven't actually read them, but my wife kind of eats through these, and yeah, they sound quite fun. And then we have Jasper Fforde, The Air Affair, which didn't really work for me. I kind of enjoyed it, but there was just too much going on, and I think the synopsis on the back is a bit misleading. Much of what the synopsis is talking about doesn't happen until way past halfway, so it's just trying to do too much, and yeah, I didn't get on with it myself. And then a couple more sort of crime books. We have The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith, which I loved, and then we have A Kiss Before Dying by IR11, which I loved even more. And this literally was a can't put down novel. I stayed up until 6 AM finishing it, and it was really fun. So that's that. And then back into the territory of sci-fi, we have The Time Traveller's Wife, which I quite enjoyed the first time I read it, although that was years and years ago. So yeah, I need to reread it. I think there were some areas of it that didn't quite work as well, if I remember right, but yeah, could do with a reread. Then we have The Handmaid's Tale, which I did quite enjoy. I don't think it really lived up to the hype that everyone gives it, but that's no fault of the book. You know, that's just what happens, I suppose. But yeah, still a solid book, very interesting. Then we have another sci-fi book. This is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes, which I quite enjoyed. It's kind of about artificially trying to boost someone's IQ, and yeah, it's quite sad, but interesting. Definitely kind of its time, I think. Then we have Brave New World, which Aldous Huxley is great. don't know what else to say. Then we have Dune by Frank Herbert. This is the first, I think, 3 books in the Dune stories. I haven't read this yet, but hopefully soon. Then we have Philip K. Dick, The Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. One of my favourite books, although I'm not sure whether I prefer this or Blade Runner, but yeah, I love it. And then this is 1984, yeah, again, solid. I think this wasn't necessarily a case of not living up to its, you know, the kind of the hype, the sort of atmosphere around it everyone talks about, but in a way it's kind of, you kind of, when you read it, you cut through all that kind of, all the talk around it that, you know, that you kind of get through osmosis, I think, and you kind of understand more of what it's actually really about, because yeah, I think a lot of people who haven't read it talk about it a lot, but yeah, it's a classic, and it's great. And then we have some Ray Bradbury, The Illustrated Man. I still haven't read this, but I've enjoyed his short stories. I think my dad used to read them when I was a kid, so yeah, let me know what you think if you've read this, or any of the others, because that's the end for now. But yeah, please let me know what you thought, and I'll see you again in some other video soon, and I'll be back at the shelf before too long. Alright, take care, thanks for watching, bye bye.